Good morning, Goddess. How are
Good
you?
morning.
Welcome to our second season, fourth episode of Good Morning, Goddess. We're delighted to have had a lovely spring break, and now we're back. You?
It's spring.
It
Early
is.
spring break. Be careful. You're
It
going to
really
get
is. And so we've all been very busy with our various living of life, making choices, changing things, seeing how the changes work out, because that's what spring is about, renewal, newness.
We just got out of
fresh
Mercury retrograde, and I know a lot of people
yeah.
have experienced this one a little tougher than maybe some of the past. I know it's been that way for me, and it's affected my mood in ways that were very surprising. Thank goodness it's over. That's all I have to say.
For 6 weeks. But the point is how you handle relationships and how you handle changes in life is really one of the things a goddess gets to get good at.
You know, I noticed I'm handling stress much differently these days.
I've noticed much better.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I used to panic and totally freak out and fall apart. And now I'm just taking one step in front of the other. Oh, there's a challenge. Okay, what do we do? Let's move on.
Right.
And I'm really loving that. My life is not doing this. And I used to talk about this in my classes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things you learn in Tantra is, you know, life does have its ups and downs. But when you learn how to manage your energy, instead of these big roller coaster rides, it becomes a higher frequency, which has less of the ups and downs. They're a little more even.
Or even if you do have a really big dip, you recognize it, you catch it, and you handle it differently.
Absolutely.
And you don't want a life that's, you know, totally boring, as I like to say, because then God kills you. Why are you around? There's no use for you on earth if you're not going to handle the conflicts that come up and the contrasts that life is giving you as a gift to learn about yourself and others. So speaking of others...
Well, I got to tell you first how I did it because I'm so brilliant.
I love that.
What I've noticed is that in the past, when I would panic, I would have these certain thoughts. So now what I do is when I hear those thoughts come up, because they inevitably do, I realize they're not me.
Yeah.
They're just thoughts. And they're often thoughts that came completely from somewhere else.
Right.
So I don't have to get attached to those thoughts, because the minute I get attached, then the stories start and you can fall into that downward spiral.
There you go.
But I just go, oh, there's a thought, thank you, bye-bye. And instead, I just focus on the energy I'm feeling in my body. So let's say a thought has created a strong sense of inner angst or inner energy and motion.
How's that go?
So what I just do is I breathe very deeply, I make sound, and I just focus on moving the energy through rather than getting stuck in the thoughts that create all the pain.
Right.
And it's a much better experience. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's fun.
You feel better.
But it feels a lot easier and a lot better than getting attached and going into the dumper.
Yes.
Yeah.
One quote that I remember from years ago was, some people live their lives with the opinions that were given to them by everyone else. And
especially that critical parent, maybe critical teacher, critical something.
Right. But what you think about yourself is based on what everyone else has told you you are or says that you have to be, etc. In other words, clean slate for spring.
Maybe.
Fresh new thoughts and new opinions based on what you think of yourself.
Maybe their opinions are none of your business.
Ooh. Drink to that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So we are so off topic because today's show is about friendship. We've had an interesting ride into some friendships this week through our camp and through different kinds of people reacting to things in very different kinds of ways. Some ways that we thought were awesome and some we weren't so thrilled with. So we want to talk about the idea of what is friendship. What does it mean? Because not everybody's going to do everything the way you want it. And they may not even listen to you.
Rude.
They may not do things the way you advise that they should because you know so much better.
That's just wrong.
So we're going to talk about how do you ride that wave with people who are so different from you and have such different modus operandi.
And yet they're still your friends. This is what was so interesting for this topic. The topic is friendship. The topic is renewing ideas about opinions and yourself and friendships. So you may love this person, but have you heard the phrase, man, I love you, I just can't live with you. And it is different. You can love some things about people, love some things they do, and not have a clue about why they act that way, If they're your friend. If they were your friend, they would
do it the way you think
do
it
it.
should be done.
Obviously.
Now, the reason we're such close friends is we listen to each other and we do everything each other tells each other to do.
And then we ignore everything. Because that's what works.
That's so not true. But one of the things that we've really learned is that as people are different, if you can accept who they are fully, you don't have to do it their way. You don't have to be with them when they're doing things you don't enjoy
Except
or
my
appreciate.
birthday. You have to do everything right on my birthday.
My birthday's coming up first.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Next month. Anyway, so one of the wonderful things about friendships, I've noticed this in relationships, that when people get into, let's say, a romantic relationship, they have this sense that this other person somehow is a reflection of them, so they are overly invested in their behavior and have a desire to control.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the cool things about friendships is that you don't have that same level of intensity of this person reflects me. And
maybe.
So, hopefully. And so when your friend does some things that you may not agree with or they haven't followed your advice, it's a lot easier somehow to forgive them. So, because, they're living their life and it really doesn't affect you that dramatically, right?
No, there are rules.
Oh, put that
there
away.
Are rules of
Put
friendship
that away.
and relationships, and if you would just follow the rules.
As long as they're hers.
I love this book, by the way. You can look it up online. It's by Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider, The Rules. And I'm telling you, it is one way in which people can learn to understand each other. But you have to agree to the rules before you play the game.
Well, I think the rules are the rules that you make with anyone, the agreements, the boundaries that you set, and I want to finish my thought.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I can remember what it was.
It was about rules.
Oh, so my idea is now in my life that I also run my romantic relationships a lot more like friendships because everybody is autonomous. They need to be themselves, and we need to support them in being themselves. And the only way to deal with things we don't like is to set boundaries for ourselves rather than laying shit on other people.
Did you say that on camera?
I did.
We're on cable. It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm allowed to disagree with my sister Shama because that's what life is about. When people, I have to say, I have my favorite saying, the golden rule, right? Do unto people as you would have them do unto you. And I have never agreed with that.
I have a better one.
No, I have to finish. Because I live by the silver rule, which is do unto people as they want you to do unto them. In other words, you have to have understanding, tolerance, and communication. And ask them, is this good for you? If I da-da-da, should I call you first? Do you want to be there? Are you going to talk to each other? But it's each individual person's needs and what makes them feel heard and respected as a friend that you need to understand to be a friend to someone else.
Well, I have a different one.
Of course you do.
And that is, love yourself well so that you can love others better. We often forget that we're so busy doing for others, especially women. We're the doers, the nurturers, the givers. And we tend to forget ourselves in the giving of another until we run out of our bank account energy. So if you're loving yourself well, and you're listening to yourself, and you're more sensitive and aware of what's going on for you, you can be that with and for others.
Right.
So, yeah, you've got to love someone in ways that work for them so they feel loved.
Right.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a very, very old and dear friend visiting with us today.
Do we?
Where is he? Primal friend, and here she is.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, girls. We're really happy to see you today. Thank you for having me on your show.
We told you that we're having guests.
Yes,
so
it's a season of guests. So Barbie's been with us for years and years.
Years. She's kind of got a few cracks.
She's grown. Hasn't she grown? My honey, you're just... The Barbies when I was a kid... Barbie was my first friend. Barbie was always someone I could rely on. Barbie played with me morning, when I got home from school,
whenever
at night.
You wanted.
Anyway, she was the best friend because she did what I wanted.
Absolutely.
And oftentimes with friends